Okay. All right. I am Councilwoman Dr. Lashun Burr Danley with the City of Douglasville Ward 3 Post 1, and I'm here with my colleagues.
Councilman Samuel Davis.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Okay. And this is our town hall meeting for the month of May. We also have staff here as well as county staff and just a wealth of information for all of you. So we're going to just pass the mic and let everyone introduce themselves first.
I'm Mark Edwards with the City of Douglasville. I'm Lieutenant of the Office of Professional Standards, and I'm here in support of the Chief to give a little spiel on Neighborhood Watch and community safety.
Okay.
I'm Devitri Caldwell, District 1 School Board Member. I'll be giving an update on just where we are educationally, just a quick update, some things that we have going on that you all may not be aware of.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Keel with the Water and Sewer Authority. I'm the Deputy Director of Engineering. I'm here to give a very brief explanation of our stormwater program with no politicking, I promise. And hopefully answer any questions that you all may have.
Hi, I'm Michelle Wright with the City of Douglasville. I'm their Planning Director, and I'm here to talk to you about the State Route 92 project and any other transportation questions that you have.
Hi, I'm Marsha Hampton, City Manager with the City of Douglasville.
And I'm Greg Roberts with the Maintenance and Sanitation Department, otherwise known as the Garbage Man.
Good evening. I'm Travis Landrum, Director with the Parks and Recreation Department here with the City of Douglasville.
Thank you.
We're going to make sure we get everybody in.
Good evening. I'm Charles Thomas, Park Manager, Jessie Davis Park.
Chief, stop looking like you're busy.
Y'all keep me busy. Gary Sparks, Douglasville Police Chief.
All right, Commissioner.
So with that, I guess we'll now give everybody an opportunity to kind of share what they do, what they came to talk about, and any particular order that you want to go. You want to start with?
Well, let me just
with the panel.
Right. Let's start with our Water and Sewer Authority.
Okay.
Commissioner Mitchell and myself, along with Councilman Davis, received phone calls from residents. I want to say, you remember when the storm happened maybe a month or two ago? And there were some residents that had concerns about water that was overflowing and continued to overflow even after the storm was over. So, I spoke with Gil, the executive director
Correct.
for WSA, and very, very thorough. Thanks to our city manager, had him call both Commissioner Mitchell and myself and Councilman Davis. So our Water and Sewer Authority staff here is to just give an overview of what is the purpose of the Water and Sewer Authority, what is the responsibility of the residents, and who can you call in the event that you have concerns or questions.
Thank you, Councilwoman Burr Danley, and I'd like to thank you for inviting us to be here tonight and thank all of you for sharing your time with us. I will be brief and to the point, and I will encourage any of y'all, if you have any questions or follow-up for us, the Water and Sewer Authority, after tonight, please call us. We are always happy to talk to you one-on-one and try to address whatever issues you may be having. As far as our stormwater program, what does the Water and Sewer Authority have to do with stormwater? It's not even in our name, right? Well, back in the 1990s and early 2000s, there were a lot of new state and federal regulations concerning stormwater that were coming down on municipalities, cities and counties, and the things that they had to do to manage stormwater. As one measure to help meet those standards, the City of Douglasville and Douglas County contracted with the Water and Sewer Authority to start providing stormwater services. You can think of us more or less as the contracted agent to the city and the county for stormwater management. That's pretty much what we are. These agreements that we entered into specify, what are the services that we will provide, what is our responsibility for managing stormwater. It basically defines what we call our level of service, and that level of service is more or less ownership and management responsibility of all stormwater infrastructure in the public right-of-way. That means all of the roadside ditches that carry water when it rains, all of the drains in the road, all of the catch basins, curb inlets, all of the pipes under the road, pipes that run down the side of the road, all these things that carry stormwater from the road and under the road during rain events, that's our responsibility to own and maintain. What it does not cover is maintenance of private stormwater infrastructure on private property. So what we're not able to do is come onto your private property and fix broken pipes or clogged inlets or sinkholes or anything of that nature. That doesn't mean that we're just going to leave you high and dry and say, sorry, we can't help you when you call. What we are able to do in those situations is we're happy to send somebody out. We've got a team of very highly skilled and pretty friendly engineers on staff. We've also got a very skilled and friendly maintenance staff. Any of us are happy to come out and meet with you and discuss whatever problems you may be having. If it's a problem that we can fix in the right-of-way, we're going to do that. If it's not a problem we can fix, what we can offer you is free consulting services, basically. We can identify what is the source or sources of the problem and recommend to you what are some things that you can do on your property or maybe in corroboration with your neighbors to address those issues. So again, I will encourage anybody, please feel free to reach out to us regardless what the issue is you're having, and we're happy to do whatever we can to help you work through it. How do we pay for all this? Well, everyone in this room probably pays a $4 a month stormwater fee to the Water and Sewer Authority. And that is the sole funding mechanism through which we fund our stormwater program. We don't get any tax revenue. We are funded solely through our stormwater utility fee. All of that money goes into our stormwater operations and our stormwater capital improvement program. So probably the most common question that we get from customers is, what do I get for my $4 a month? And that's a very good question. I mean, if you're not going to come onto my property and fix my sinkhole or whatever the issue is, what am I getting for my $4 a month? Well, I would say probably the biggest benefit is you've got roads that are safe to pass during storm events. We spend, actually the majority of that revenue we spend on our maintenance crews that go out every day, all day, year round, and clean out those roadside ditches, clean out the catch basins and the drains into the road, repair pipes when necessary, in some cases replace pipes when necessary. A few times a year we will undertake very large capital improvement projects to replace pipes under roads, either because maybe they're collapsing, maybe the road is in danger of collapsing, maybe they're deteriorating because they're metal and they're rusted, maybe they're just drastically undersized and we have road washing out problems during large flooding events, but we will undertake capital improvement projects to replace those culverts. So that the biggest benefit that everybody gets is, safe roads to travel during rain events. In addition to that, we also use that money to conduct flood studies throughout the community. All of Douglasville and Douglas County, we have now conducted flood studies and mapped the extents of the floodplain. What that allows us to do is more closely regulate development. We're not going to let a builder go in and build a neighborhood where there's floodplain and then sell those houses to homeowners that don't know that there's a floodplain there, and then 10, 20, maybe 30 years down the road, God forbid your house floods because you're in a floodplain and you never knew it. We regulate development very closely here in the community, and that's one of the most powerful tools we use to do it. We've also got some of the most, perhaps the most highest stormwater development standards in the state of Georgia. If somebody wants to develop a shopping center, we review those plans very closely, not only for the water and sewer infrastructure, but to make sure they're not going to put a big slab of concrete up the hill from your house and dump a bunch of stormwater on you every time it rains. We've got standards that they have to manage up to and including the 100-year storm event, that's more than any community in the metro Atlanta area that I'm aware of. So we spend a lot of our time reviewing and managing and overseeing these private development projects to help protect our citizens. We also are constantly involved in a program to identify and purchase flood-prone structures. A lot of structures that were built, primarily homes, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s were built in floodplains. And these houses represent not only a hazard to the people that are living there, but when they flood and they're no longer inhabitable, they can present a blight on the community, to the neighborhood. They can present an eyesore. They can present a public health hazard, really, if they're left too long. So we undertake a program to identify, work with the property owners, and with the property owner's consent, purchase, demolish these houses, and then save that property as green space. Make sure it never gets built on again because it's flood-prone property. It does not belong having houses in it that can flood in the future. So these are the things that you all are paying for your $4 a month, and you know, we think it's a good value, a good equity for the community, and we hope you think so too. I would like to take the opportunity to say I've got some handouts up here. If anybody would like to come up during or after the meeting, we've got a one-page kind of an outline of our policy, what we do and what we don't do. I've also got an advertisement here for a seminar that we're giving, I think it's 1 week from tonight. Yep, Tuesday, May 16th at 6 o'clock at our administrative offices on Hospital Drive. We're giving a seminar. If anybody's interested in our stormwater program, wants to hear more than my 5 or 10-minute spiel about it, please contact our office, sign up for it. We'd love to see you there. It's about a 1-hour thing. We do offer credit if you belong to a church or another commercial organization that pays more than $20 a month in stormwater fees. Attending this class will get your church or other organization a credit on their stormwater bill. So I'm not going to go into the details now. If you've got questions about that, please come see me afterwards or call our office and ask about it. But you know, there can be a benefit to your organization to your attending this seminar as well. And I've also got a pamphlet up here just about some things that you all as homeowners, property owners, residents in our community can do to help keep our streams clean, help prevent water pollution. So with that, I will open it up for any questions. Yes, ma'am.
I live at 8363 Holly Street. I'm just moving back in town. I clean the ditch out in front of my property. Once I get to the end of the property line, when I was growing up, they used to come and actually scrape out the ditches. The ditches from my property line to the rest of the street have not been touched. So if I'm cleaning from my property line to the end of my property line, I mean, y'all come, y'all cut the grass, but the ditches are not scraped at all.
Okay, if you'll get with me after the meeting, I'll get your contact information. We'll get a work order for our maintenance crews to come clean those ditches out. And yes, ma'am, we do.
On both sides of the street.
Yes, ma'am. We have vacuum trucks. We have big excavator trucks. We can suck the leaves out. We can dig the ditch out. A lot of times these ditches fill in with sediment over time. They can't carry as much water. So if that's, you know, if you need that on your street, please let us know.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Okay, let's go here. What's your name? Tell everybody your name.
I'm Madeline Hubbard, and I reside 7222 Cedar Forest Drive. And I can't remember the last administration name, but there is an area behind my home that the city, WSA is responsible for keeping clean. He came out, they did an evaluation, and they said that someone would come every month to clean it, and that's been 7 years. It hadn't been cleaned. Trees have grown up around it. Everything that come down the street actually come through that big pipe in the back of the house, so it's grown up, so you can't even get to it. And I need someone to come out and look at that also, so I'll talk to you afterwards.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And I'll ask anybody that has a specific, you know, stormwater complaint at their property, please come see me afterwards so I can get your contact information, and we'll be happy to have an engineer or myself reach out to you, and we'll arrange time. We can meet you at your residence or your property to look at your specific problem.
Thank you. Okay, so make sure we understand that we need to make sure that you get your information to him so that we can make sure that he understands where the problems are, where the stormwater issues are, because if you don't, then we won't know. So we appreciate this type of a dialogue.
How you doing? My name is Ralph Benton. I'm in the Chicago Park subdivision. I'm not sure if it's a lake. It's called Crystal Lake, but I've been told it's a retention pond that's behind my home. When I first moved there, you couldn't see it. Now I can throw a rock from my patio and hit water. So I'm trying to find out if that is indeed WSA's, you know, so we can get someone to come out, you know, take a look at it, get it cleaned up. Beavers are having a good time, and there's trees down everywhere. So.
Yes, sir. Commonly in the subdivisions, the retention ponds are owned actually by the homeowners association. Right. So it's their responsibility to maintain those and keep them cleaned out. But what we can do is come out and do an inspection of it and then have a dialogue with your HOA and tell them, you know, this is what's going on, this is what you need to do to fix the pond, clean it out, whatever, to restore it to its
But I guess the first question probably would be, is there a homeowner association?
There is a homeowners association. Right now, the developer is still responsible, so he has a management company, and according to them, we don't own it.
Right, okay.
So that's why I need some, clarity.
Yes, sir. And in cases
place.
like that, where it's currently under development and the developer is still the owner of the ponds,
right,
we will work with the developer to do whatever is necessary. In fact, you all are not alone. Oftentimes in these developments that are being built over a period of several months, sometimes several years, a lot of them in the community are coming back after having been dormant for, during the economic downturn. A lot of these ponds have gotten grown up. And so what we try to do is work with the developers to get those ponds cleaned out so that by the time they turn them over to the HOA is not inheriting a mess that they have to go in and fix.
So you guys can actually help with the developer to insist or kind of entice him to go ahead and do a good job at cleaning these type of ponds and all that kind of good stuff versus letting it kind of back up to your back door. And yes, so we'll need that kind of a help. Okay, so let's get to another question. Anybody? Okay, right there.
Hi, my name is Betty Johnson. I live at 6789 Davis Drive, and I have complained and I have asked. I have the water that comes off of the road next to my house, come through my backyard, goes across my separate tank, down through my sister's yard, and when it rained, it looked just like a river. And also out by our mailbox, the ditch down there has widened out, and it's getting wider and wider and wider. I have complained about that. So I would like for someone to come out and take a look at it. And not only take a look at it, do something about it. I have asked several times, and I've had people to come out, but nobody done anything about it. So I would like to ask you tonight to take a look at it.
Yes, ma'am, we'd be happy to, and I'll ask you to just get with me afterwards so I can get your contact information.
And let me encourage all of you, those of you who are having these kind of issues, take some pictures. Take some pictures of where you see the situations. Make sure we note the address and all that kind of good stuff, subdivisions, and then send it to not only to myself, but to Councilman Davis and Councilwoman Lashun Danley to ensure that when you're sending it to WSA, we can do a follow-up to say, well, we saw the pictures, we saw the video. We all got our cell phones and iPhones, and we can do videos and all that good stuff. So, but if you can kind of make sure that we see it firsthand, because sometimes the rain doesn't come but once every blue moon. But when it comes, it's really an interesting moment to see from the stormwater perspective. So take pictures and make sure we get that stuff as well. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Bonnie Kemp, and I live at 8375 Holly Street. How often do you change the water lines coming to your person's home? Because I have all kinds of soot, rust, everything in my water, and I don't think you guys have changed the water, 50 years? The water lines?
Well, hopefully we don't have to change them very often, because that's a pretty expensive process. But
you guys have a tendency to neglect us, okay? So I just want to know, it's not just my house, but several other homes also.
Yes, ma'am. And there are certain parts of the city, there are older parts of the city that have different types of pipe in the ground, primarily galvanized steel pipes or cast iron pipes that are more prone to having rust coloration in them, depending on how much water is used in those pipes. And we do have a program that we've been using for the past 2 or 3 years now. We're targeting these older systems to come in and replace those pipes specifically for that reason. I would encourage you to, again, talk to me after this so I can get my water lab people to contact you. They can come out and take a sample from your tap and determine exactly what's going on.
Okay, I did call, and I had a guy to come out, okay, and he took my water. Okay, and he said there was nothing in there, and I had my water tested myself, and it was something in there.
Okay, well, I'll ask you this, ma'am. As the commissioner suggested, maybe the next time you turn on your faucet and you see the rust coloration coming out, either take a picture or, better yet, get a glass jar
sample, yes.
or a
take
glass,
a sample, yes.
Collect it in the glass so that we can see that.
Right. We got a couple more questions, then we got to move on to the next one, guys. And we want to make sure you guys leave your information so we can kind of get to WSA. But go right ahead. Next question.
Good evening. My name is Benny Adams, and I live over here on 92 Highway at the corner of Lincoln and 92. And every time it rains, the water stands in the ditch way. It don't run up under the street and drain out. It looked like a little lake over there when it rains. Could you get someone over there to clean that out so it'll drain out?
Yes, ma'am. We're happy to come out and look at that. If that's an issue with the ditches or the pipes under Highway 92, that may be state jurisdiction, in which case we're happy to work with them and see if they can get somebody to come out and take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is going to be the last question for WSA. Then we'll move on to Michelle Wright, and she's going to talk about Highway 92 bypass, I think it is, or am I correct? Or Lashun? Okay.
Hi, my name is Denny Henry. I stay on 8064 Carden Street. You guys were just over there, I think. And
yes, ma'am.
I guess maybe 40, 50 years ago, our home was built by a program that came through. And when they made the driveway, they never put the drainage underneath it. They just cemented over. So now when the water comes down the street, it comes directly in our yard. Like most of the people here, I find that I'm not alone. Our backyard is soaked. Matter of fact, the back of our home it seems like it's starting to sink a little bit. And I'm people saying take a picture, you know, and so I haven't done that, but when we have those terrible storms that we've been having, we get soaked too. So is that something is that my responsibility to get that drain thing put back in underneath the driveway, or is that?
Excellent question. So driveway pipes are the property owner's responsibility. We don't own them or maintain them or tell you what size or type it has to be. I can tell you we are going to be having maintenance crews on Carton Street in the next week or two to clean out those ditches. We were out there today and noted that there's several driveway pipes that have gotten clogged up in several areas where the ditches have filled in and do need to be cleaned out, so we'll be doing that. That will help alleviate the problem of the water getting out of the ditch and going behind the houses. If it's a problem of the water going over the driveway, though, it may be that you would need to install a driveway pipe.
I'm at the top of the hill, so, you know,
okay.
I catch it first.
I would encourage you to, you know, let us come out and meet with you and look at your driveway in particular. You may not need one, depending on where you are.
Suggestion would be nice. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's give our water and sewer representative a nice hand. Come on. Yes. Let me close in saying he's not leaving, but make sure you get him your information. Make sure you take some pictures. Make sure you kind of let your councilmen know and commissioners know and stay on us. Stay on him, because you pay that. Is it $1 or $2? $4 per month that deals with stormwater management. So with that being said, we'll turn it over to Michelle Wright.
Good evening. I'm going to talk to you tonight about the State Route 92 relocation project, which is the project that is being built on Brown Street and through your neighborhoods. Does everybody here know the background on the project, how many miles it is, the cost? No? Okay, let me go into that then first. It's approximately 3.1 mile project. It's in 3 phases, phase 1 being the underpass of the railroad, phase 2 being Fairburn Road to the railroad at Bankhead Highway, and phase 3 being the railroad north to Brown Street, then to Dallas Highway at Malone Street. The total price tag for the project was approximately $111 million. Congressman Scott and your city council members helped appropriate from Congress from $93 million for this project. The construction cost is approximately $59 million, and the contractor is C.W. Matthews. The railroad would be a grade-separated underpass near Strickland Street, Bankhead Highway at Brown Street, Ellis Street, and I'm sure you've seen the work going on there now. The project is 6 lanes wide. It will have pedestrian crossings, sidewalks, sound walls, and landscaping. And at your pedestrian crossings, you will have the pedestrian lights. The completion date is in December of 2019, with some landscaping and miscellaneous items to be completed afterwards. The construction trailers for the project, Georgia Department of Transportation is behind CVS. They have a construction trailer there if you need to contact them. And then C.W. Matthews, who's the project construction, is on Bankhead Highway near Brown Street. There's a construction trailer there. The roadway construction paving is at about 60% complete. The paving is complete from Fairburn Road to Brown Street. The next paving area will be from Brown Street at Dallas Highway to Dallas Highway at Malone Street. And this paving is going to start next week. The road construction Paving should be complete by the end of this year, December of 2017. So the road will be paved and complete by that this December. Then there will be maintenance and 3 bridges to complete. The railroad construction subgrade work was completed by the end of March 2017 and is ready to be turned over to Norfolk Southern Railroad, and that's the underpass that we're looking at. Norfolk Southern Railroad will have to move the track, and the railroad tracks would then be moved over, which will take approximately 60 days. As it stands now, the railroad will not be able to have crews available to move the tracks until mid-July, and they're saying it'll take about 10 weeks to relocate the tracks. C.W. Matthews is working on the retaining wall along the railroad at Strickland Street at this time. The next step would be the shoring and excavation for the bridges to take place in May of 2017, which is this month. And work is continuing on pipe and curb on Cooper Street, and pipe is continuing to be installed on Fairburn Road. There'll be a sound wall, and I brought a sample of it. It's over there. That's exactly what it's going to look like. And that will come along Brown Street in certain areas. It's to look like a brick facade. This is a sound wall that I have not seen in any other area in Metro Atlanta. This is a very much upgraded sound wall, and I believe it's costing $1 to $2 million just for this sound wall to make it look like brick versus the ones that you see on 285 or I-20 that are the metal and some of them the concrete. So this is a really nice sound wall for the neighborhood. And it'll be on Brown Street for some of the residences. There'll also be landscape medians that will consist of trees, shrubs, and sod. And we do post construction updates on our website, and this will be posted on the website after tonight. And I can answer any questions that you have at this time.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick Q&A. No? Yeah, you want to wait till everybody go through?
Sorry. I just mentioned to Councilman Davis that just so that each one of our presenters will have enough time to give their presentation, and then afterwards you can direct your questions directly to whomever you have a question to, so that they all will have enough time.
So you want to introduce our school board member?
Okay. All right. Thank you. I should have taken your advice earlier.
So I guess I have to operate this? Yes. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I will not hold you long. I will try and be as brief as possible. I did do a PowerPoint so that I'm able to keep my points and make sure that I deliver the information efficiently and effectively. I do see my school board colleague, Ms. Simmons, so hello, and I see a couple of my principals, so I'm glad that you guys came out. So keep in mind that some of this information, as far as like finance and even as far as accreditation, it's very brief. Some of that information I don't know in its entirety, so I would hate to put something out there and I can't answer your question. But, you know, Ms. Simmons is always here, so in the event that there's something, I'm sure she wouldn't mind assisting if there's something that we needed help with. So, okay, so this is just an overview. So none of this information may be in any specific order. I just kind of jotted down some things. Okay, so I've been in office approximately 127 days, right? So I just kind of wanted you guys to know some of the things that I've been doing. So I've been extremely busy. So the one thing that I wanted to do, the one thing that I said that I would do upon coming into office, I said that I would meet with all of the principals of all the schools in District 1. I met with everyone except one. I mean, we did have phone conversation. I met with the principal. I met with the principals. I toured the schools. One of the things I wanted to know was what's going on. Tell me something exciting that's going on in your school. Also, let me know some of your areas of concern. They told me some of their areas of concern related to parental involvement, community engagement, and that's a big thing. So I'm going to certainly work hard on making sure that we keep the community engaged. I called them and said, hey guys, we're in the middle of budget. Is there anything that I could help advocate for? They gave me a list. Some of them told me specifically, they emailed me and told me what it was that they needed in some of the areas that were most important to them. The other thing I said I wanted to do, for those who know, I'm all about planning events. I'm all about getting people involved. So I am in the process of planning an event. I had a date scheduled. However, I will be in Savannah that weekend and did not realize that. So stay tuned. I will certainly be planning a community event. My idea is a fun event with kids getting out of school, something just to do. I understand we'll have back to school things coming up, but I wanted to do something just pretty much to grab the community together, pull in some sponsors just to kind of let the kids, you know, enjoy a fun day at one of our parks. Okay, so this is one of those slides that I mentioned. So I just kind of wanted to just kind of let you guys know where we are in Douglas County. We're doing pretty good as far as funds. We're doing pretty good with our budget. This budget has not been approved. We still have some things that we have to work on, but I just wanted to kind of put a number out there to let you know that, of course, we still need your support. We need you to buy homes here. We also need you to make sure that you shop within our mall and patronize our businesses here. Proposed salary, this is something that I know on the campaign trail, one of the things that, in the parade, one of the things that a lot of the teachers talked about is we need a raise. And if you've had any conversation with teachers, it's, hey, we need a raise, and they deserve it. They deserve more, honestly, they deserve more than a 2% raise. However, this is a start, okay? In Douglas County, we're certainly making waves with continuing to make sure that we do the best that we can to take care of our teachers. So that's one of the things, teachers and our teachers are classified and certified staff. So that's one of the things I just wanted to mention to you guys that, so for some of the teachers, if you know a teacher, just let them know that we're working, we're certainly working, and we're doing the best that we can to make sure that we take care of the people who take care of our kids, who are there with our children day in and day out. Okay, so what I wanted to do here is I listed some programs. So you'll see in a couple of these other slides some Title I programs. District 1, we do have a number of Title I schools. So for some of the parents, if you didn't know, of summer programs or just things for your kids to do, or even you'll see there's one or two for you to take part in. Here is some Title I summer programs. They have Beulah Elementary, Factory Shoals, and Burnett Elementary. Each school, they can select 10 students from each grade level, and each student must be in the lowest 25% of their grade level. So for those children that just need a little more help, we do have resources, and the dates is June 4th through June 29th. Summer nutrition. Of course, we know that here in Douglas County, we have a big group of people, you know, that are less fortunate, just kind of need food. We have a large homeless population, or increasing homeless population. So, and the one thing is, we don't want our kids to go hungry. We understand that sometimes our children are put in situations that they didn't ask to be in. So as a school system, we want to make sure that we take care of them. So we have the summer nutrition, and I actually have a complete list of the schools, and if anyone wants that, I can get that to you. So here we're going to feed the kids breakfast and lunch. So we have breakfast, 100%. They'll have fruit, fruit juice, and milk, and also a full breakfast. For lunch, they'll have an entree, vegetable, fresh fruit, milk, and also juice. And of course, this program is set up to make sure that kids, you know, that they're fully fed. So they have to choose with their entree, they have to choose the vegetable, and they also have to choose a fruit. Sometimes kids don't want it, but that's just to make sure that we're doing the best that we can. Also, the age. Anyone that's 18 and older, if you're hungry, you're certainly welcome to partake in this summer nutrition. Also, we have something for the adults. We understand that sometimes, you know, finances may be tight. However, we want to do the best that we can to make sure that we meet the needs of everyone. So for adults, we have breakfast. So if you have a child, you can take your child there, and you can also partake. For adults, breakfast is $1.65, and then for lunch, it's $3.50. And of course, it's at specific locations. So we ask that, not to say that if you don't have exact change, but just to make sure that the process moves a little smoothly. kinder camp. So of course we know we have our little bright kids going into school, and I'm not a parent, but I do understand the anxiety of parents and little children going into kindergarten. So we have kinder camp. So this is a one-day camp, so it will allow parents to come in to our schools, all of the schools that have kindergarten. It'll allow parents to come in to kind of get a feel of the school. It'll also give the students, the kids coming in, an idea of what to expect. So they'll have arts and crafts. Actually, I should go. Okay, so they'll have arts and crafts. They'll learn about the school. They'll make new friends. And they'll kind of get them ready for the first day of school. So let's see. Okay, so very brief. This is just some of the achievements. Douglas County is doing well, despite what you may hear. Douglas County is doing well educationally. Second highest graduation rate in the state. We did our advanced ed accreditation, and as you can see, Douglas County, we're at 307.93. The state average is 278.94. So despite what you may hear, we have great schools. Our teachers are doing great. Our principals are doing great, and our superintendent did wonderful. Superintendent, we are in the middle of a superintendent search. I just kind of want to let you know we did do a survey. We had applicants. That's pretty much all that I could say. This is highly confidential. I can't disclose any more information, but I do know a lot of the public know that we're in the process of selecting a superintendent, but that's all that I can say. Dr. Pritt's last day in session is May 15th. We ask that you all come out. It's going to be college and career night. Make sure that you all come out, wear your college attire. And this is my update for District 1.
Let's give a nice hand for our school board member.
Contact information as well.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to acknowledge some other staff that we have here. We have Judge Barbara Caldwell. I know she doesn't like to be acknowledged, but I have to acknowledge her anyway. Judge Barbara Caldwell is here.
Give her a nice hand. Yes. From Higher Standard and our great judge, honorable judge.
And our school board member, Michelle Simmons. Demetrion mentioned her earlier.
And we got Tiffany here, who from the county. Tiffany, please stand. Come on now. She's over at the county doing some great work for us.
Also, we have my branch of the NAACP. Will you please stand? My branch here in the city.
Yes, there we go. Yes, thank you. Okay.
All right. Okay, so now we'll have our presentation from our City of Douglasville Police Department.
And we need the short version, okay? Okay, thank you. All right.
I see Chief over there. Chief, you want to step up here? And
where is it? I thought it. Oh, yes. There, I was looking for Chief. Come on around here. You know you got to be a part of all this.
Oh, no. Your name on it.
I was going to give him the table first. Like I said, I'm Mark Edwards. I'm the guy that handles all the hiring, training, internal affairs, polygraph, you name it. I'm a jack of all trades. But one of the things that I take the most pride in is our community outreach. And I see some folks who have been involved in community outreach programs. Got a lady back there that was in my Citizens Police Academy. The reason why we take such pride is because we want people involved in our department. And the only way for us to be a true community police department is to have that trust, that involvement from the community we serve, right? So one of the things that I'm tasked with in internal affairs is making sure that our officers are doing what they're supposed to be doing right. And Chief really puts a lot of trust in us to do that. But here's the thing. We don't police ourselves. It's the community that polices us. Okay, so if y'all see something, say something. Just like we tell y'all about crime, if y'all see something, say something, right? The only way we can build that trust between us and the community is if y'all help us out. So just wanted to mention that. As far as community involvement and crime prevention, really wanted to talk to you about growing up here in Douglasville. This is where I graduated from, Douglas County High School in 1987. I take great pride that this is my community that I lived in. Douglasville, everybody thinks about crime. Anybody think about crime when they think about Douglasville? That's all I hear. When I live a little bit further west, but people say, you grew up in Douglasville, isn't there a lot of crime? There really isn't. Growing up here in Douglasville, I know because if I didn't have a car to drive all over the city of Douglasville, I walked. But I knew what Douglasville is about community. And you folks that are here understand that. If you just look around the room, look at your fellow community members, y'all understand that it's very important to have that strong community tie. So when we talk about crime prevention, When I was growing up here, if I came up here to Jessie Davis Park, Mr. Councilman Davis remembers, is he behind me? He remembers the old ball field over here. We'd go over here and play ball all day long. If we did something wrong, somebody over here knew me and also knew my mama, and would call my mom and tell them that Mark just did something wrong. And by the time I got home, she'd be waiting for me. That's what, that's what it was about. But as we've grown in Douglasville, it's really hard to know who your neighbors are 5 miles down the road. It's not that way anymore. But here in your own community, you can do that. Whether you live over here at Douglas Village Apartments, or I heard somebody, Crystal Creek, anybody live at Crystal Creek, that area? Most people on this side of 92. When you think about your neighborhood, you have a way that you can keep an eye out, know who your neighbors are, report back to your neighbors if you see something maybe that their children have done, or maybe somebody has come into your community and you don't recognize them. And what that's called is a neighborhood watch program. Just like the old days, growing up here, if I did something wrong, it was already back to my mom before I got home. In your own little community, wherever you live here in Douglasville, you have that ability to report to your neighbors what you see. And the way you develop that neighborhood watch program is get to know your neighbors. We become such a transient society that we come in, we do things, we come home, we go to bed, we eat dinner, whatever. We get up and we leave, and we take very little time to know our neighbors. Take the time to know who your neighbors are. In fact, if you feel like you could take charge of such a program like Neighborhood Watch, step up. Be that person to guide your neighborhood in a Neighborhood Watch program. And what you do after that is you establish that Neighborhood Watch. You figure out what the issues are in your neighborhood. I know one thing, growing up here, like I said, Douglas Village Apartments have been here for a while. I know that there's a lot of good people that have always lived in that apartment complex. In fact, when I first started policing, I would go visit some of my friends that I grew up with that had gone on and gotten married and moved into the apartments over there. I didn't think that much about it, but I know that in policing we see other things too. I saw the people coming not from within the community to do bad things, but outside of the community. And that's generally what the problem has been. The drug dealing, the crime, it comes from another area. And if people don't speak up and say what they are seeing, we don't know about it as police officers. It's really easy to close the shades at your home and ignore than to just give us a call. Or that neighborhood watch program that we were talking about. Talk to your neighbors. Say, did you see so-and-so, or did you see that car out there last night? I don't recognize it. What do we need to do? Organize. Get that information together. Be the intelligence on the streets for us, and let us know what's going on out there. So what I'd like you to do, go home, go to your communities, organize the best you can, and give me a call at the police department. I'll be glad to help you out, try to organize a neighborhood watch program. So, thank you. I'm Mark Edwards. I don't have a card on me. I do have some pamphlets I'm going to leave out front on that table. In fact, I might have some cards out in the car. I'll bring some to you, okay?
Thank you so much. Also, I wanted to acknowledge we have the principal at Stewart Middle School. I didn't see you sitting back there. Okay, good. You have summer school. Okay, good. Summer school at Stewart Middle School. And also we have our mayor, our Honorable Mayor Robinson just came in, and our Honorable Commissioner just came in as well. Thank you so much for being here. All right, we'll have Mr. Travis Landrum. For those of you who have not met him, he's our new park director, and he's going to give you an update about what's going on with our parks, and then we will have question and answers. Yeah. And I would be remiss if I did not say my sister is here. Hey, Melita. Okay.
Travis, you got 3 minutes. I know it. We got to, if I said, you got 5 though.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Just a little history about myself. My name is Travis Landrum. Again, I joined the city here in October of last year. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of the same stories as our panel here as being from the city of Douglasville, but it feels like home, and I've been happy to be here since I've got here on the first day. As far as where the city is going in our Park and Recreation Department, we're currently working with a developer to create some concepts and proposals for our parks in this area that serves the north side, specifically Mill Village, Willing Workers, and this park. This park, of course, is going to be affected with other projects such as the 92 project, and we definitely don't want to put the cart before the horse and develop anything out here in this area only to have the 92 project come around and rip it right back out. But the Park and Recreation Department is definitely looking to move forward with the SPLOST project that the city, that you all went out and voted for and got approved. We're looking to put those dollars to great use. Again, the concepts that we're looking at for these parks is going to be a preceding step to a larger picture that we're looking to do with a 10-year master plan for the department. So what we would hope is that this proposal that we're looking at for these parks can go ahead and take some of the earlier steps out of the process, so then when the 10-year master plan comes through, we can go ahead and jump into those and have those projects take off and hit the ground running. Some of the main concerns that we're definitely looking to address in those other parks, specifically Mill Village and Willing Workers, are the concerns that we need to address with the bathrooms. We need to have water out there as far as water fountains, access for the children. To my understanding, there's a church that does a summer camp over there every summer, and when they have the kids over there, little Johnny, if he has to use the bathroom, the whole group has to go back because, of course, for safety concerns, and then, of course, for hydration aspects. So those are some of the things that we're trying to do with the Park and Recreation Department. When I first got here, I heard a lot of conversation that kind of split up the department as far as saying the north side and the south side, or everything beyond the railroad tracks. The vision that I have with the department removes the railroad tracks. It's the Park and Recreation Department as a whole. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do in this area, so the focal point will be here as well, but that's just some of the ideas and some of the things that we're going forward with right now with the Parks and Recreation Department.
Thank you. Thank you, Travis. And now, just based on time, I guess we'll take a couple of, we got a few minutes here to take a couple of questions. Anybody got questions for anybody on the panel, to include our staff that's here? Just stand up and say your name and make it known.
Yes, yes, I'm Jessie Nation, born and raised here in Douglasville. I know earlier we talked a lot about stormwater runoff.
Right.
And my suggestion is, why is it we can't have more curbings and storm drains here on the north side of town? I don't know if this is the appropriate meeting to bring this question up, but I just wanted to be on the record that it was brought up. So is anyone on the panel that can tell me why is it we can't have more curbing and storm drains over here?
So basically, he wants to address the infrastructure that's actually on the north side that deals with the stormwater side of. So, your comment.
Yes, sir. So, again, it goes back to when these areas were developed. A lot of the area on the north side of town, around downtown, that's the older parts of Douglasville and the older parts of Douglas County. And the standards at the time of those developments was generally you did not have curb and gutter. You had roadside ditches. Sometimes you didn't even have driveway pipes or pipes under the road. The Water and Sewer Authority does not control curb and gutter or roadways. So I can't directly answer that question. I believe the current development standards in the city and the county do call for curb and gutter and storm drains. In which areas, I'm not completely certain. But I can tell you that the Water and Sewer Authority's level of service is defined as maintaining the existing infrastructure, not going into areas that have been previously developed and upgrading the infrastructure or adding infrastructure that should have been, maybe wasn't put in to begin with because of the development standards at that time. I'm not sure if that answers the question or not.
It's a start. It's a start.
Yes, well, thank you. Just one other quick question on the 92 project. The sound barrier places you have designated for sound barriers. I just want to know if you have designated for the apartments on Brown Street. Is that designated for a sound barrier?
My understanding is that they are not designated for the apartments on Brown Street. They're designated across the street at different segments along Brown Street for the single-family housing across the street.
Well, I really think they need one for the apartments there on Brown Street. I mean, you have a highly concentrated population right there, and they definitely need something to prevent some of that noise from coming right past those apartments.
I will look into it, and I'll speak with Georgia Department of Transportation and take a look at the plans for you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, hold on.
Good afternoon again. My name is Bonnie Kemp. I'm not sure whether this is the right time to present this question, but however, I'd like to know, and perhaps you guys can direct me. It's pertaining to Thompson Street, their community grant program. Okay, have you guys started working on that yet? Because I've seen one of the houses supposedly have been repaired.
Yes, actually, our city manager can answer that question in regards to when it started and where we are currently.
Correct, Ms. Camp. We are working on that project. Currently, right now, whatever holdups we had are contingent with the homeowner. So the houses have to be homeowner occupied, and we can't move unless the homeowners move. So currently we have two homes that have been completed. There are a couple that we're looking to complete, and we are actually going back to the Georgia Department of Community Affairs to look to see if we could potentially adjust the grant, because it looks as if there will be a few homeowners that will not be able to move forward with the process. So we have 18 months to spend the money to complete the entire project. We are a little over halfway through that 18-month period. We're giving quarterly updates to the elected officials. We just gave one last month, so we will come back again in early fall around September to see if we could have made some headway with the current existing homeowners that we're working with. If we cannot, then the next step will be to see if we can move those monies elsewhere. Now, I will say, as the grant is currently designed, it's federal funds and it's a block grant, so you can only use the funds in that block. So we couldn't go to, if somebody was on Colquitt Street, we couldn't do that. You would literally have to spend the money on that block unless the federal government and the state allows us to change our application process to allow for that.
Then also one other question, Carton Street. That's not the Carton Street that's by Thompson Street. It's the other Carton Street. I don't know whether you guys are aware how bad that area look. And then kind of go back to the community grant. It's one particular home that you guys are supposed to have completed, and seems as if it looks worse than when it was started before. Perhaps it looks better inside, but on the outside, it does not look well whatsoever.
On Thompson Street?
On Thompson Street,
okay.
yes.
If you give me the address, I'll have code enforcement go out and take a look at it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All righty. She was next. Hold on one second. Get on this side of me.
My name is Faye Dobbs, and I'm concerned about the Carton Street issue. From what I'm hearing, is it just Thompson Street? Are we not looking at Carton Street, and we've been on that list and waited for a couple of years?
For a community development block grant, the community development block grant was specifically applied for Thompson Street. When you apply for that grant process, you are applying specifically for one street. And the reason why Thompson Street was a stronger application than the other streets is because it had more homeowner occupied homes. It does not apply to rental homes. So if your street has a significant amount of renters, it would not. And then also the income level on the street also played into it as well, and the condition of the homes. So we did an assessment about 3 years ago of the condition of the homes, the streets, and again, with the state and federal government, it's a scoring criteria. And the grant writer came in and looked at all of the streets, and Thompson Street rated as the most eligible street that would be applicable for the funding.
Now, that doesn't stop them from applying for other streets, but
Correct.
Right now, that's the block grant. That's kind of where it's actually going to be used at, and that's kind of the criteria
yes, sir.
being used.
But Thompson Street has been done twice. Some of those houses that you're redoing, this is the second time they're being done.
Well, actually, Thompson Street was not completed under this grant. It was completed under Habitat for Humanity, the 21st Century, and then Habitat for Humanity. Also, there were some homeowners that live on Thompson Street, and Councilman Davis and myself have specifically walked that community and have spoken to homeowners, and there were homeowners who did not want the grant. So we have money that is that is not being utilized at this time. So as Marcia has stated, that the only way that the money can not be used is that there has to be advertised, and then it will go for other use. And of course, I know that some of you have been referred to Patrice Williams. She was here earlier, to get on a waiting list and then to wait and see what's going to happen next after the advertisement. Did that answer your question, Faye?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We got a question.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. It can't be empty. It has to be where you're going to reside and where you're going to reside for 7 years. It doesn't matter. Correct.
Okay, we got a question here.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Horace Crenshaw, and I live in the Providence Walk subdivision. And it's my understanding, once they widen the highway on Highway 92, they're going to put a barrier down between the medium, and we won't be able to pull out and make a left turn onto the highway and make it and go north. North. Or if we're coming down from the town, we can't make a left turn into our subdivision. And the emergency department is right up here on top of the hill here, and we have a fire and a medical emergency. They're going to have to go past our subdivision. If they can't turn in, they got to go down and make a U-turn to come back. So,
Michelle, you want to try that one?
Yes, I believe I spoke with your homeowners association president about this. I believe he called me and contacted. There is going to be a median, as you stated, right in front of your subdivision, and you will have to come out and go right and make a U-turn or go to another street and turn around. As far as the fire department is concerned, in front of the fire department, there will not be a median. There'll be a light that will flash so that they can get out immediately. But however, if your street it has a median and it does not have a turn lane, then the fire department will have to go and turn around also. That's going
to be very, very inconvenient. And we have a lot of retirees that live in that subdivision, elderly people, such as myself. I'm not elderly yet, but I am retired, and I'm 100% disabled vet, and I have medical issues. And if I call 911 and the ambulance has to go a half a mile or past to come back and check on me, I think if I don't make it, or if I do make it, somebody's going to have a lawsuit.
Well, I can make contact with Georgia Department of Transportation with the project manager to take a look at this. You stated Providence Walk as your subdivision.
Yes, that's correct.
And see if we can go out and take a look at it.
And then the other subdivisions on that same stretch of road there that's going to have the same issue, not just Providence Walk. So if you're going to put a barrier down the middle of the highway, it's going to cause a lot of inconvenience for a lot of people.
Michelle, can you address?
Okay. Your Providence Walk is in Phase 4, which is in the county. It's also continues into Paulding County. It's actually not the City of Douglasville project. However, I did speak with your HOA at Providence Walk to give them the information and as to who they can talk to at Georgia Department of Transportation, and then also at the county who the transportation director was.
And I guess the major concern is, though, and to help out, is there any way, now knowing that the median will come all the way through, how far, who's being blocked, is there any means of possibly looking at a cut, or just be honest, if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen.
I don't know if it will happen. I mean, it can be requested, and you could speak to the project manager, Georgia Department of Transportation. I believe that when I spoke to him, he was going out and talking to some of the subdivisions. I'm not sure if he spoke with yours or if your subdivision had a meeting, but however, I can get in contact with him and give your subdivision name and to see if he will go out and speak with the residents.
Michelle, there's a couple of subdivisions that's going up 92 that's probably got the same situation that they're asking that same question. So either we can or we can't.
It's a Georgia Department of Transportation project, and I don't know if the city or the county has a lot of control over it.
Right, and I think the project is with them, and they're deciding on the medium and where it is and how it's going to cut, what cuts in the mediums will be there, if there are going to be any cuts. So that's a Department of Transportation, GDOT, and a few other. Yes.
Also, I want to say that Representative Kimberly Alexander met with some of the homeowners and is also working with the Georgia Department of Transportation. So Michelle Wright can get information to us, and then if you please sign in at the sign-in desk so that we can send you the information that we receive with your email and phone number as we receive the information.
So you're not the only one that's asking that same question, so from subdivision's perspective. Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, hi, ladies and gentlemen. But I have a question I want to address to, is it Officer?
The officer?
Edward? I have a question.
You want to hit the chief as well? He's over there as well.
Oh, well, the chief also. That's even better. Thank you. But anyway, I live in Douglas Village Apartments. And we used to have, like, police security guards in that area, because I do believe in safety from all of us that lives out there. So they have cameras now set up, because we don't have I mean, I know you ride through different shifts of police, but you know, we need more. The cameras, they're telling me in the office, when I asked about the cameras, they said they don't work, or that the cameras is for their benefits and not ours. So that kind of got me wondering why are they answering it like that?
So can you address public safety? Yeah, and Douglas Village.
Sure. As you've seen, you know, our officers patrol that area, and they come in, and hopefully they're looking for, you know, to help folks out if they need anything. If something's going wrong or somebody bad is in the area, you know, we're going to certainly take care of that. But when you're talking about the cameras, you know, they're not just decoration, and I'll tell you why. Because about 4 years ago, I was a patrol lieutenant working night shift, and a lot of the calls that came out of Douglas Village Apartments was from the management company telling us that they saw some suspicious activity on their camera system. So I hate that you've heard that those cameras don't work, because they actually do. We've responded to calls because of those cameras.
I figured they did.
Back in the day, the city and the county shared an extra job there at Douglas Village Apartments, where we had an officer working in an extra job. And then most recently, you saw the security officers that were working the grounds as well. Really, I think the camera system is doing a good job, but if you want more security, it would be something you would need to take up with the management company.
Thank you.
Okay, let me finish this. Okay. So my problem is, we had like vandalism of your cars, theft inside your apartment, and so on and so forth. And I know it's been people coming in. There was criminals like robbing stores, staying with different residents out there. So now when you go to the office and ask about the questions of cameras, they never have told me that they working. And I figured they were. So do I need to call you guys?
You can certainly, if you have some information that would help us get the bad guys out of there, that's what we want to do. The big thing is that you're a concerned resident, and we have to have, how many apartments are over there? I know there's 10 buildings. Should have concerned citizens in every unit in all 10 buildings, right? And people just like you can help keep those people away by reporting that to us.
Okay, now how is it going to really be resolved, though? Like, they vandalizing cars, and there's nothing ever done about it. You have to have probably full coverage and then pay your down deposit just to get stuff fixed around there. They would not tell you anything. They will not check anything for you.
I tell you what,
I need some answers. I want something to be done about that.
What we can do to help you out is, if it is a recurring problem, get with your management and tell them. Well, here's the thing. You can call us as well. We can put a zone patrol on the area, Chief.
Yeah. Yes.
It sounds like you all need to get together, all the residents.
Right.
And need to get the
a neighborhood
manager has a boss.
Right.
And then you all need to come together as one, and instead of being, right, and then go together after the management.
And be the eyes of what's happening in your community, because these guys can only do so much. The cameras can only do so much. So we're gonna need, what we need though is need for you guys to kind of take part in this as well. So let's take a community approach and you know, look. Okay, but we got here's.
Can you have maybe your own personal camera put in since they're not?
Yeah, that's your property. Yeah, that's up to you.
That's okay.
Yes, you can do that. But we're running out of time. Thank you. I gotta get. No. Oh, he's been. Oh, okay. I didn't know he had. Okay, go right ahead.
Yes, it's concerning the 92 project on Highway 78. I see they had the lane shift about. I want to say about a half a year in the progress. So you're telling me that it's going to be 2019 before they move the track over so they can put underpass?
No, they're going to start moving the track over in mid-July, and it should take about 10 weeks to move the track over. Then they're going to go underneath it and do what they call shoring and go do the tunnel underneath that for the underpass. So in mid-July, they will be starting that process on the Bankhead Highway Railroad underpass.
Okay, I would have thought that they would have started the tunnel project before they moved the highway over. Therefore,
you mean the railroad?
Ma'am?
Move the railroad over?
No, not the railroad. Just started the project digging, so once they move the highway, a temporary highway, so traffic can flow around while they finish working up under the tracks.
In respect of time, but let me just say this to you though. That's a GDOT. That's not
GDOT.
Right. GDOT, ARC. These guys who are the experts, the P&Z, they did all that they said was going to be the right way of moving this whole project. It's about 3 or 4 phases. Help me out, Michelle.
3 phases.
3 phases, and they came up with this whole method of madness. That's what we're getting. But at the end of the day, they felt as though phase 1 will be this part of the project. Phase 2 will be this phase of the project. And whenever they go into the tunnel, whatever phase it falls in, that's kind of their method as to why. Now, does it make sense to us? Probably not. But for what they're doing and why they're doing it, from the safety perspective, it made sense to them as to when to do the tunnel, when to move the tracks, and so on. So, Michelle, you can't answer. I'm just trying to help.
Basically, what they try to do is stage everything so when the project is complete,
right,
it will open all at the same time.
Right.
For example, the bridge is phase 1 because the bridge will take longer than the other 2 phases. Right. So,
question, there was a 6-month delay because the plans that got the railroad tracks shifted, the railroad didn't approve them. And the engineers had to go back to the drawing board on that. So that set the project back from about September last year until about now.
But it didn't change the phases. It didn't change the phase of what the process is. Right.
And so they can't do the part that Ms. Wright was talking about until that track was moved over, and the railroad wouldn't let them move it over.
Right. So
okay. Delayed by several.
I was just trying to figure out why was it taking so long. So that delay, I understand that now.
Right. Okay, we're gonna take one more question here, and I don't know, because I think we about ran out of. Yeah, I think this is gonna be probably the last, and you guys can hang around and ask as many questions as you like. These guys will be around throughout the night, so we're here for a while. But based on time, we're beyond our allotted time, and I'll let Lashun close it. But Charles, you on?
Yes, my name is Charles Jones. Reside here in Douglasville. I have a question with the 92 project. For the kids walking back and forth to school, I understand you guys saying it's going to be crossing lights and stuff like that. I don't understand why we hadn't decided to put like a bridge or something for these kids to cross over instead of trying to cross over through 6 lanes of highway. I mean, that's ludicrous to me.
And he's talking about that crowd getting from this side of the town to go to Stewart and get to school. So valid question. Any comments, Michelle?
I think that is a valid question. However, when I'm not sure that I've seen on a road project where that they've done a pedestrian overpass of any type, Georgia Department of Transportation. I know there is one in the Cobb Galleria area. However, that one, money was raised and done by the CID, which is the Community Improvement District, and they put that in themselves across over Cobb Parkway, but I have not seen Georgia Department of Transportation do a pedestrian overpass in their works and their projects in the past.
I understand what you're saying, but for as the city of Douglasville, I think should step up and do something for as our kids coming from Avalon, coming from the apartments and stuff, having to cross over 6 lanes of highway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think it's a very valid point.
Okay, all right. Okay. LaShawn?
Yes, I will yield my comments and let
Sam?
our mayor and our commissioner, I'll yield my comments and let them make comments to close. Councilman Davis.
Thank you all so much. I am elated to see you all here this evening, and the chair and I won't speak for her, I let her speak for herself, but we apologize for coming in late. We are part of the Development Authority, and we met with some potential developers who are going to bring jobs to the community, and so we had 3 meetings today, early this morning, and then we went to Water and Sewer Authority, and then we went to meet with these developers that are coming in the city of Douglasville and part of the county that will potentially bring jobs, 500 jobs, and so we're trying to bring them into the community because we're vigilant about trying to get work, and there's a great percentage of that, more than 50% they would hire from people inside of Douglasville, Douglas County. So again, I thank the council members and commissioner and all the staff and elected officials and everyone in Water and Sewer Authority. We had a meeting earlier this evening. Good to see you, Brian. You're welcome. And thank you so much, community, for caring enough about each other, because we're going to rise and fall together. There's no north, south, east, west. We all pay taxes, and we need for the community to work for us. It doesn't matter where we live, and I'm here to serve you. Anything I can ever do for you, please let me know. I have an open door policy. Come see me. I have some state of the city addresses where I addressed the city and laid out the plans for the city. I'm excited. In September, I'm going to do SPLOST all around the city to tell you, town hall meetings about the SPLOST, to tell you how your dollars are working for you with infrastructure, utilities, all kinds of facilities. Just excited that we're moving forward. Thank you again for your time. Know that we are working, and you have 2 council members that really care. They're not just sitting there taking up time, but they're part of the solution. And I really appreciate you all sending them to the city to do your bidding and to do your work, and know that they're doing that every day. Thank you, Chief, also, and the police department for what you do, Youth Against Violence and all the programs that we're working hard, y'all. I know y'all probably don't see it sometime, but we really are working for the community. Thank you. Here.
Good afternoon or good evening. I'm Dr. Ramona Jackson-Jones, the Douglas County Commission Chairman. It is absolute a pleasure to be here today. And just to echo the mayor, we have actually been in meetings all day regarding some economic development and some jobs for the county. We had a job fair today. Medline held one, and we tried to advertise it on Facebook and also through what's happenings that was posted. And also, we just recently had a job fair. We had 18 companies come by that was held at the courthouse, and we had to turn 8 companies away. So 400 people attended. This is a good time in Douglas County. But more importantly, I'm here to support the city council, the school board, to also my favorite commissioner, Commissioner Henry Mitchell III, who I'm just here basically to support him today and to move him along as he celebrate because he speaks so highly of District 1. So if you could just give him a hand for me, he's absolutely amazing. And again, thank you. We are working hard. We're looking at a transit system that's coming. We will start particularly on the north side, and I'm quite sure that our great commissioner has discussed that, so I won't go over and rehash all that information. I'm quite sure you talked about the transit. The buses. Yeah, so just intermodal bus system. We've ordered 4 buses already, and it is up there, smaller buses, 15 passenger, 2 wheelchair access, and we're trying to start a pilot. We will have a pilot program here in Douglas County. We'll start on the north side first, and we'll travel between the mall and back and forth, and then we have another access point that we're looking at, and eventually we'll hit the Thornton Road and Riverside area, and then we will grow larger. We're taking some baby steps, but it's a lot better than what we've been doing, so we're making some headway. So thank you.
You said that will start when, Commissioner?
January 2018. Happy New Year.
All right, that's great. Hold us accountable. I mean, it's really nice that we have presenters here and everybody sounds so all nice and
Yes.
neat. But trust me, you all know that you have to get down to the nitty gritty and make sure that we do what we say that we're going to do. Really, right?
Right.
Am I right?
Right,
We
right,
say we're going to do
right.
what we do. So we're going to end our meeting. This has been really, really great. Our presenters will be here just for a moment. And as Mark has stated, if you have concerns about your water and sewer, please come up, give him your name and address so that he can get your questions answered along with the school board and everybody else. All right, thank you.